This is Bruce Bochy, and you're listening to the Ranger Report.
The Ranger Report. Yeah, the Ranger Report. If you want the inside scoop, listen to the Ranger Report. Oh, here we go.
This is the Ranger Report podcast. News, insights, predictions, interviews, and information about the World Series champion Texas Rangers, from the major leagues to the minor leagues. And now, here are your hosts, Ben Dieter, Tyler Nilson, and CJ Berryman.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Ranger Report podcast. I am Ben Dieter, he is CJ Berryman, and that is also Kane McCutchen with us tonight.
We ain't dead!
Tyler has the night off tonight, and we are not dead. We are back. It's been quite a while. CJ has had over 450,000 things happen since the last show. I've had a lot of things. I've had a lot of things happen. I've started school. Kane has started school. Tyler,
I'm also
in the heat.
Decided to get my doctorate in psychology. So that's another thing that's next year. We don't have to worry about that, but that's another thing that's been.
So you got that going on. And I'd like to mention, of course, which I haven't yet, Comfort Air. We're on the Comfort Air online studio. Thank you, Mac. We are brought to you by, or we are on the Fans First Sports Network, which Kane also writes for Fans First Sports Network. He covers the Rangers for Fans First Sports Network. And I also write there. And of course, I still work for Dallas Sports Nation, cover them. They give us our media credentials, so I love them for that. And then, of course, did I miss anybody? I feel like, Walton's, duh. I don't want to miss Walton. We always play that commercial off the top, but I still like to mention everything.
Our first ever sponsor, man.
Our first ever sponsor. And then, speaking of first ever sponsor, I'd also like to mention I got contacted from someone from TravisMatthew.com. They're a clothing company. And he sent me a thing saying, hey, we're starting some MLB clothing lines. Can you guys mention it on air? And I'll send you some stuff. And I was like, it depends if I like the stuff. So they sent me some shirts, and they're pretty nice. I'm wearing one tonight. If you can see the sleeve here, if you're watching the video, it's got Rangers right here on the sleeve. They also sent me a pullover, which I'll show you guys on another episode when I wear it, and then a cool little t-shirt too. But anyway, it's TravisMatthew.com. And if you go to their MLB collection, they have a ton of Ranger stuff, plus other teams. If you don't like the Rangers, I don't know why you're listening to this. If you don't like the Rangers, well, probably if you're an Astros troll, but I don't know why anyone else would be listening to this.
Yeah, there's a few.
Anyway, pretty cool. TravisMatthew.com. I'll put a link in the show notes. And speaking of links in the show notes, CJ, we are going to unveil a updated logo later this week that was done by a friend of yours. And
what better way to say we're back?
Yeah, exactly. And the update with a new logo.
We had to take a little bit of hiatus, but now.
At least we didn't have to do that during the World Series year, you know. But
no, that would have been bad.
Anyway, we are going to put an email address that I will explain in the show notes again when you look at it. Any requests after you see this logo, you love it, you want to know more about our work, you can email bondbdh@gmail.com. That's bondbdh@gmail.com to find out more about her work. And I'll put that in the show notes because it's kind of hard to remember that off of a podcast, but you'll be able to actually see it.
Yeah, the email address is her dad's, Bradley.
Yeah.
Brad Hoffman.
He's a college student, so he's gonna filter through those.
Yeah, she's going to college right now. And she's done a lot of artwork previously, and the idea popped in my head because he and I used to work together at the last company I worked with, and he was showing me some of his daughter's artwork, and I just came up with the idea: we need a fresh new Ranger Report logo, and so she made. It took her a couple months to do it, but she made a very special logo for us. And she's also, she's going to college for artwork. And so if you want to find her stuff, look at the link in the website, Brianna Hoffman.
Yep. So and we will unveil the logo on social media later this week.
Incredibly talented. Talented artist.
Be looking for that. You will like it. It is a shout out to the World Series. So everyone who likes the Rangers is going to love it. Speaking of shout out to the World Series, I haven't worn this in a while. Hold on. I got to put this on. All right. I feel better.
Oh, your ring. Yeah. Mine's it's secure right now. But
Tyler, you got at least one, didn't you?
Tyler, I think did.
Tyler? And Kane, you got at least one, didn't you?
I don't have mine on me, but I do have a
No, I was
you got at least one.
I made sure that son of a gun was somewhere safe. So.
Yeah, that was.
I'm at college right now. You best believe my ring was not coming anywhere near this campus.
Hey, I 100% do not blame you. This does not go anywhere near my school either. So,
hey,
I 100% understand that.
I have not worn my World Series ring outside at all. Period.
I haven't either. I want to wear it.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But I haven't. I don't know where to wear it.
I got it right before I moved, so I was going to show it off, but now I moved and I've got it secured. Pretty much hit it for myself. So
it's always
I'll find it and I'll be sporting it.
All right. Speaking of moving, Corey Seager hip injury. You guys think he's out for the season? Kane, I'll start with you.
Yeah, good question. I don't know. I mean,
is he even hurt? I mean, really?
I don't know. I think there's definitely don't want to rush him back. I think it's one of those things where, like, if a baseball miracle were to happen and the Rangers were to somehow find themselves in it that
would be a hell of a damn miracle, King.
With a week to go.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised if Corey Seager comes off the IL. But I would say if I had to put a bet on it, I mean, looking at it from a big picture standpoint, this is your $33 million a year shortstop who has 7 years left on his contract. You don't really want him playing in games that are not meameaningless. So, look.
Well, and he's got an injury history. So, yeah, I mean,
exactly.
There's really no reason if you look at it. And it's another opportunity for the Rangers to get more looks at younger players. It sucks that we're having to say that, but that's the reality of it.
Well, and since I joked that, on Twitter that they had to go 30-3 to catch the Astros, the Rangers are 8-2. So,
hey, and they're undefeated against the White Sox, but they're
undefeated 7-0 against the White Sox.
12. What's the 12-27 since the All-Star break against everybody else but the White Sox?
Yeah, but they're 7-0 against the White Sox.
But they're 7-0 against the White Sox.
Beat the teams
man. I hadn't put that in the things I was going to talk about.
We've been doing a pretty good job with the Yankees. That's been a pretty good battle, both series, to be honest with you. Not just this one, but the one before. So
correct.
that was pretty good. Now we got the Angels in town, and screw the Angels. And
I got to say though, man, are the White Sox the worst baseball team in history? Like,
they're the worst team I've ever seen.
They haven't won 40 games yet, and it's September.
Yeah,
I mean, it's almost September. It's not September, or it is September. It is September.
Man, I don't know, Ben. We're talking about some Expos teams, that were pretty bad, that were playing in front of nobody at Olympic.
Yeah, but they had
even though they had
wins
Vlad Guerrero. Yeah, even though they had Vlad Guerrero and a bunch of other guys before they moved to Washington, obviously, but. There's been some bad. I mean, Houston was real bad.
Yeah, but still not
before they exploded, but not this bad. I don't know. This is historically shitty. I mean, when a manager, your first base coach refuses to take the field, and this is in the first quarter of the season.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
Yeah.
That's a problem.
I don't know. I've been watching baseball since 2010, and this is by far the worst team I've ever seen in my life.
Yeah.
I feel so bad.
It's definitely been the worst team since 20. Yeah, for sure.
So my mom always jokes that like her second favorite team is the White Sox because she loves black and white. And I have not heard that once this season. That's fair enough because
what's funny is one of my best friends in my circle, the only one that hasn't come on the podcast because he's not a Rangers fan. He's a White Sox fan because he loved Frank Thomas when we were growing up. He's a big Hurt fan.
Good reason. Reason.
Love Frank Thomas, but I haven't heard shit from him.
They have been historically bad. Like they're gonna lose 128 to 130 games. So
yeah,
I mean, that's just insane.
I remember around the deadline seeing like Garrett Crochet saying like he didn't want to be traded. I was like,
whatever. He's lying his teeth off.
Dude, I'm telling you what, right now though, that's an easy gig. No one is expecting anything from you.
Fair enough. I was talking to you the other day one of the guys that I work with at the ballpark, he does the Foul Territory show with AJ Brzezinski, and I was talking about, I wonder if he'll get the interim gig, and I was like, who wants that interim gig? Goodness, that's the hardest job out there right now.
Brzezinski would, he would. Brzezinski that's actually a loaded job for somebody like AJ Brzezinski to take, because he doesn't have the patience, especially when he played for the White Sox and obviously the Rangers, but AJ played for a lot of people, but
he did.
Yeah, he's a catcher and he's not afraid to hold his tongue, so he doesn't need to be around this White Sox team.
Catchers seem to make the best managers for real,
exactly, though. Yeah. So who knows? But no, I wouldn't want that job. I mean, if I was hired as the GM of the Chicago White Sox today, that's a tough job.
I mean, in my opinion, they started going downhill when they brought in Tony La Russa. That did not go well at all.
Oh, they've
kind of been in a spiral since then. And I hope that they've hit the bottom this year. Like I'm not a White Sox fan at all, but I really hope that they're a lot better next year.
Well, and was it 21 when they brought La Russa in?
It was
conjured him out of the grave.
It was 20.
It was 20. Yeah, it was
21. Yeah. I think 21 as well, because I remember COVID being a factor.
Yeah,
I think I'm pretty.
Yeah, he was there for a couple of years.
Yeah, he was.
But anyway, that was not.
It did not go well for the White Sox or Tony La Russa.
It did start with La Russa. I think the other big piece of that, though, was the Tim Anderson fall off. Like,
I agree.
Tim Anderson, not just him either. Who was their best player?
Lance Lynn fell off.
Lance Lynn fell off.
Yep.
Luis Robert, but then who was an Astro this year?
Yeah.
What happened? Jose Abreu was one of the best players in baseball just a few short years ago, and now he's not in baseball.
Nope,
because the Astros just straight up cut his ass.
They turned their season around when they did
exactly the same time.
I mean, they literally went from the White Sox of the AL West to now being the best team by far in the AL West since they let him go. And it's just amazing to me. And he was not playing well. He was dragging them down, but I think it was more, I mean, when he got sent down, he agreed to it. If you remember that.
No, he knew. Yeah. I mean,
he was like, I'm not helping the team. I'm not doing anything good.
I will give him credit for it. This is not like a Carlos Rendon type situation.
No,
man. The guy was trying. Not effective, and he was trying his ass off, but he was in his own head. And I mean, to his credit, he's like, man, I don't blame him for sending my ass down, because right now I'm not right. So so he got DFA'd, and all of a sudden the Astros are now looking pretty damn good again. Really good.
Speaking of guys not in baseball anymore, I think we need to talk about Elvis Andrus, who tomorrow, we're recording this on a Thursday, so tomorrow he's retiring as a Texas Ranger at Globe Life Field. And I think it's awesome they did it during the Angels series so that Ron Washington's also going to be there. But CJ, I'll start with you. I'll start with you, CJ. What do you think? Yeah, what do you think about Andrus finally announcing his retirement?
Well,
I mean, I still think of him as a kid.
I do too. But to believe it or not, I mean, even 3 years ago when it was a 3-4, about 5 years ago when his play started really declining. No, 4 years ago. Yeah. 4 years ago when his play started really declining. And I mean, he went to the A's. Obviously, we traded him to the A's. Then he goes to the White Sox, and it just never was there. I mean, hell, there was one season I don't think he even hit over 200. Was that last year?
That was last year. He didn't hit over 200.
But I mean, no, he was an integral part of 2010, 2011, and I mean the whole team. He was there from the start, and
I mean, he's easily a Rangers Hall of Famer, no doubt.
Oh, absolutely. There's not even a question.
No doubt about it. Yeah,
no doubt about question.
He's all-time stolen bases, first in franchise history. He's third in hits, second in games played. I mean, look at the numbers; they're there.
And I remember watching his first game.
Yeah,
first ever game, and he hit a damn opposite field home run.
Yeah, and then he didn't hit another one for like 3 years.
Yeah, he hit like 5 home runs the whole year. But in that first game, that opening night, he did hit an opposite field home run. And I mean, and watching him play defense, I mean, there were times
his defense was unbelievable.
But when it was a difficult play, the most difficult plays made Elvis Andrus a better fielder. That's the best way I can put it. The more difficult to play at shortstop, the better Elvis was. And the easiest the play was at shortstop at times, he would lose focus, and that would piss Ron Washington off. Then I'm gonna turn that back over, that over to you, because that used to piss Ron Washington. Lack of focus, losing track of whatever Ron Washington was pretty vocal about it.
My best and worst memories of him both come from the playoffs. Best would be when he stole home against Tampa Bay in that 2010 series. Just, okay, I'm taking home. And of course, other best, honorable mention is just anytime a pop-up was on the right, on the left side.
On the left
and
side. And
he and Beltre, you never knew who was going to catch it. I loved that. Was so great. And then, of course, worst memory is Toronto with the 3 errors, and wasn't it 1 inning?
1 inning, yeah.
3 errors in 1 inning. Yeah. Talking about him losing focus. That was a gut punch to Rangers fans all over the world.
It wasn't a gut punch. It was a punch straight in the grundle, right in the balls.
Man, it was bad. It was bad.
And I don't care if you're a woman listening to this, you had balls whenever that punch had to come out.
And just like Nelly Cruz, like everyone remembers him for the one bad play. Like I still love Nelly Cruz as a Ranger. I still think he was a great Ranger.
The Rangers are not even anywhere close to that position, if not. Yeah. For Nelson Cruz, because people forget who was the ALCS MVP that year.
It was Nelson Cruz.
How many freaking home runs did
Nelson that walk-off grand slam against Detroit?
Oh my God!
I think for me and kids my generation, my age, when you think of Rangers baseball, the guy that has played the most games still to this day. Since I started watching baseball was Elvis Andrus.
Yeah. Elvis.
So growing up, always watched him play shortstop. I mean, he was someone that, obviously didn't have the crazy power, but I mean, someone that you wanted to play like, could spray the ball all over the field. And he wasn't, from what I can recall, the fastest guy, but he seemed like he was the guy that knew how to use his speed.
Oh, he had really good speed. He was a perennial 30 steal guy every year. So, yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. And so, I mean, him, I do remember him in Beltre. I remember him up the middle of Ian Kinsler, because Ian Kinsler was my childhood favorite player. And, man, just a franchise legend, like y'all said, easily a Rangers Hall of Famer.
Easily, yeah.
There's no doubt about it. I mean, you look at that team and how that all started. I mean, it started really in 2008. With the trade, the Mark Teixeira trade, which brought Elvis and Salta Lamacchia and others, Neftali Feliz. I mean, that whole 2008 season, and then 2009, they plugged 19-year-old Elvis Andrus.
Yeah,
I'm sorry, 2009, 19-year-old Elvis Andrus right into the starting lineup and moved Michael Young to third, who is a Rangers Hall of Famer. He's Mr. Ranger. So, Elvis is he deserves it, and it's going to be fun. I hope there's some shenanigans involved tomorrow, which I'm sure there will be. It's Elvis, man. It's Elvis.
Yeah, it has to be for sure. Another, while you mentioned shenanigans, another Elvis thing I just thought of was the clown.
The clown when Michael Young was retired.
Michael Young. Yeah.
But Michael Young's on the damn golf cart and he gets inducted into the Hall of Fame, and then Elvis comes out of the clubhouse with a clown mask on, and I thought Michael Young was literally going to punch him right in the face.
I thought he was too.
Michael Young hates clowns, dude. He really hates clowns.
Yes, he does. And if you ever listen to John and Jeff's podcast, they had Michael Young on one time, and he explained the clown story on there and why he hates them so much. And it was pretty fun.
Well, and it was a reliever. Somebody, the story I'm telling, I think, Ben.
Yeah.
One of the relievers back in the day, Michael Young was doing an interview, and he just put a clown mask on and tapped him on the shoulder while he's doing the interview. And Michael Young chased him into the bullpen.
Yeah.
Like literally out of the clubhouse into the bullpen. God, what was his name?
I know who you're talking about.
You know who I'm talking about.
But it goes back to like his uncle. His uncle's house had a bunch of weird clown pictures in it, and he explained it all. So go listen to that episode if you haven't yet. All right.
That's good.
Let's switch over. There's someone else I wanted to talk about that I almost forgot about. And that is, in Major League Baseball history, there are 2 people two people who have a cycle, an inside the park home run, and a walk-off grand slam in the same season. Those two people are Jackie Robertson
and Wyatt
Langford. Jackie Robinson and Wyatt Langford are the two people in MLB history to do those three things in one season. Guys, are we watching? I mean, and I know he's not here tonight, CJ, but we talked about Tyler on it.
Tyler
in spring training, telling us he's going to make the team and he's going to be awesome. And you and I were like, he's not ready. And dude, this kid is, I mean, Kane, you get to see him in person all the time. This kid is something else. And Kane and I were discussing that we've seen every one of the important things. I saw his first grand slam. Kane saw his inside the park home run, and then Kane was there for the walk-off grand slam. So
wow, I think the Ranger Report has Wyatt covered. I think we're there.
I mean, seriously, I think if you look at where he was in the first month of the season to where he is now, I mean, it's a night and day difference. And we talk all the time about how, the development is not over once you reach the major leagues. And I think Wyatt Langford is a true testament to that. I mean, true 5-tool player, can hit for average, can hit for power, he's fast.
That's the thing, dude.
He played a really nice center field the other day. I remember sitting up in the and then, the Globe Life Field press box is so high. So you get to see all the ranges.
You're up there in space.
And you get to high five airplanes up there. It's nice.
And he ranged to his right so far back toward the bullpen and made a really nice play. And I'm like, man, this guy could be an everyday center fielder if he wanted to. And then he hits the walk-off grand slam. And after the game, kind of he really has a knack for the big RBI. Always
he does.
The big hit.
And speaking of that, Adolis Garcia just hit a 3-run homer. So speaking of guys,
oh, did he? Nice. I'm not watching yet. So
who loves big hits?
One last thing, if I could, personal little fun note on Langford. If you listen to any of his interviews, if you talk to him, that man does not talk. You'll ask him a question and he gives you a 1-sentence answer. And then after he hit the walk-off grand slam, he finally talked.
Well, then it was Dane Dunning, because Dane Dunning said, y'all need to be talking about that dude, not me.
And who was it? Someone tweeted that
in the minors, but
someone tweeted that he yelled. I think it was Leote that yelled across the the clubhouse. That dude is while he was being interviewed.
Yeah, that's Leote, and that's another guy we got to talk about because. But
Leote is either brilliant or he's terrible. He's got no in between. Either he's got timely hits, he's got timely catches, or he has brain farts in the outfield and he strikes out 100 times. That poor guy cannot be just an average player.
No, and it's to me when it comes to Leote, I mean, this was the season. This was the Leote season. This is going to be the coming out party. He had that full successful season that won a World Series championship, and I've seen the guy play. I've seen the tools that he has, and y'all have seen him play.
Yep.
I mean, y'all know this guy is not an average baseball player, but that's what it is. It's to me unlocked potential in Leote that I don't know will ever be unlocked, because this was the season for him to do it, because the Rangers needed somebody to step up, and they had Josh Smith came out of nowhere and stepped up. We did not expect a guy that hit sub 200 last year to come out and be, essentially your most consistent hitter throughout the entire 2020, throughout the 2024 season. But Leote, that was an opportunity, I thought, especially when Seager was down and you're having to put Josh Smith in the 3-hole, Josh Young goes down. That was his opportunity, and it just didn't transpire.
Kane, if you think about it, you can see an outfield without him next year with Langford, Carter, and Adolis Garcia.
Absolutely. I think he was always kind of the odd man out to me. It just seems like we've seen.
I didn't think so prior to this year, but now,
yeah. I'm sorry. It always kind of seemed like that, especially if Langford and Carter panned out the way that we thought they were and still are assuming that they were. It's easy to see that. I think we've seen what we're going to get from him. And that's not to say he's going to go to another team and he could be really good there. He's not just going to disappear.
He's not a bad ball player. He's not. No, he's not.
That's
not by any means.
That's maybe not. It's hard to even say he's not a center fielder on a World Series team, because he was last year.
He was.
But it's It's the consistency. And that's what separates great players from good players is consistency. Leo Taveras is a good player. He's not a great player.
100%. Yeah. And like that's I said, his at bat, he'll get those home runs and he'll get those RBIs and he'll get those doubles and triples, but it's either that or he strikes out 5 times in a game. Like you got to have some
and there was a point during the middle, Ben, where I was texting you and Tyler where I thought Leote was about to take off.
Yeah. I remember.
Because he had a couple game streak. Yeah. It's like 2-3 games where he was, he's the reason they won the games.
Yeah.
And it was like, okay, here it comes. This is what we've been waiting for. This is what I've been waiting for. What I've seen covering Leote since 2018, 2019.
Yeah.
This is here it comes. And Leote's about to have his coming out party. And it never happened.
Yep. And then like Kane said, it's the consistency. That's what the problem with Leote is. And speaking of consistency, a guy I thought looked better in his last outing, and he's pitching again this weekend. Jack Leiter definitely looked a lot better in his last outing, even though the numbers don't look like it because he came out and the bullpen came up and gave up his other 2 runs he hadn't given up yet. I think
it was really one inning. It was his last inning.
Well, and if you don't bring him out for the 6th inning, I think his line looks fantastic because he only gave up 2 runs in 5 innings, but then he gave up 5 runs in 5 1/3 when you brought him out there for the 6th inning.
It's that third time through the lineup.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I was thinking. So I was sitting there, I had my scorecard. I was like, okay, we're about to go through the top of the lineup again for the third time. Leiter's at 85 pitches. He's probably done. I was surprised to see him come back out there. And even going back forward, the 2 runs he gave up in the 2nd inning where he was almost out of the inning and then Torres got him for a double. So even that was one big hit.
It was kind of fluky. It felt even that. So it looked like, for the first 5 innings, Leiter
he looked great.
On.
He looked really good. Awesome. And even the 6th inning started with a dribbler.
It did.
He hit a guy, so it's not like he was getting crushed. He looked really good. His stuff looked good. His command looked good. No walks. I think that's the big thing.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to be the conspiracy theory guy or the conspiracy theory reporter, and I never will. But I think that if the Rangers are in a little bit better of a spot than they were, standings wise, maybe Leiter doesn't go back out for the 6th inning. Obviously, you can make the argument that he wouldn't even be up. But, it seems like if we were, if the bullpen, and I also think too, bullpen usage had something to do with it because the was really cooked. That's why Chase Anderson came in.
Oh, our bullpen right now it's still cooked. It just feels like the whole thing has been cooked. But
Evaldi kind of saved it last night.
I was about to bring. About to go.
Evaldi kind of saved it last night.
I've got to look this up because you know what, we might not have Nate Evaldi next year because he has an opt out.
He has a player option. Yeah.
He has a player option as long as he reaches 300 innings in the first 2 seasons with the Rangers. He can opt out of his contract.
Yep.
So he is not locked into next year.
It's an interesting conversation with the Rangers.
Let's have that conversation right here with Evaldi. And look, I love the dude. He's been the rock of the rotation for 2 years. We cannot deny that. You can't tell me that. You cannot tell me that Nathan Evaldi has not been the rock of the Texas Rangers pitching rotation. But the reality of it is also look at his age and look at the contract, and he can go win again somewhere else if he feels like the Rangers have already spilled their bucket. You know what I mean?
Yep.
Like this was the one deal, but he has been awesome. And I'm about to find the stat. Go ahead, Kane. I know you're ready.
I will say while you're finding the stat, just specifically on Evaldi, I think there's mutual interest there.
Yeah.
There definitely is.
There's absolutely mutual interest there, and I wouldn't be surprised to see him back. That being said, he's a free agent. You have to look at things without him. He's not going to be back. Heaney's probably not going to be back. Scherzer's not going to be back. So you're looking at
John Gray is not going to be back.
No. John Gray's in.
He has one more year.
He's under contract.
I thought this was his last year. I'm sorry.
No, I did too. I had to look it up the other day.
Yeah, he's got one more deal. Okay.
Yeah.
He signed a 4-year contract.
So it's gonna be a lot of competition at spring training. You got Gray and Dunning are going to be competing. Absolutely, Jack Leiter's going to be in there competing.
Cody Bradford.
I think Bradford's in.
I do too.
Competing.
Cody Bradford. Then you look at
depending on how Leiter finishes, he could be fighting for a rotation spot.
He's going to be fighting for a spot as well.
Tyler Malley he's done for the year. But there's two guys right there, Jacob deGrom and Tyler Mahle. That's going to be.
Yeah, that's right. We signed Mahle for 2 years, so we have
it's a 2-year deal.
That's right.
He pretty much, if you look at the contract that he signed, the big number sounds huge, but you look at what they paid him this year because they knew he wasn't going to pitch.
Yeah, they knew he was barely.
At least until dude, he made like, okay, $2 million is a shitload of money, but compared to
not to those guys though,
what he's going to make next year, because it's like 17 million next year, but this year it was like 2 million, so they didn't pay him a whole lot. In fact, look, they paid Dane Dunning more than they did Tyler Mahle.
Do you guys think we see deGrom at all this year?
Yes, I do. I think from what you
absolutely want to.
Yes,
we've talked to him probably 3 or 4 times, and every time we've talked to him, he's reiterated the fact that he wants to go out. He wants to. It's not per se he really, really wants to pitch this year. It's more of how he wants to move into the offseason for next year.
That makes sense.
That's
bingo.
That's been important to Bruce Bochy. I think we do see him next year. Now, I don't think we see him Saturday, like he mentioned. I was kind of surprised. We were talking to him the other day, and he was like, I might skip it and go Saturday. And then we talked to Bruce Bochy after that, and we could tell, okay, that was kind of like he's excited to get back out there.
He's just ready to go.
Yeah. But
Bochy's good. Bochy's good about saying stuff without saying it. You know that, Kane. He'll answer a question, and you're like, I know exactly what he meant, even though he didn't say it straight out.
100%. Yeah, you can usually get what you get.
He's very good at the backhanded answers.
Because Woody, you covered Woody too, McCutchen. Woody would just say it like straight out. Where Bruce Bochy's more political about it, but you know exactly what he's saying.
I remember
he gives you the look. He gives you the look.
We asked him something. I don't know what it was. It was something random. Or actually, he did this twice. One time we asked him something. He goes, yeah, I would go ahead and write that one down. The other time he goes, yeah, I wouldn't write that one in pen. I was like, okay.
Yeah, like I love on the radio the Bruce Bochy show, because the way he answers some of those questions are just hilarious.
He's great. Yeah, he's great.
That's it. I mean, again, I loved Woody. He was the first manager I covered for the Rangers, but
Woody was just a little too early for his time. He wasn't ready.
And Woody loved my beard at the time, so
it was Ben's first game he ever covered.
Woody walks out. I was talking to somebody about this the other day. I think Woody. I don't know. You can definitely sense the different vibes. I felt Woody's clubhouse was more like not strict, but like it was less loose. It was more tight, I feel. And Bochy, the vibe is super light no matter what's happening. And it's like,
and without that, obviously they don't win the World Series last year, because coming off the end of the season the way it did, if they didn't have that light mood, then that, they would have been swept by Tampa Bay and been gone instead of doing what they did.
Great point. That is a great point. The loose clubhouse and just letting him allow. Sorry, I'm picking my nose. I wasn't picking my nose. I was scratching. Anyway, he was. I've got a mustache itch. And so
I get those sometimes.
But without that relaxed environment and letting the players control really where things went, and just being the guy that's there to steer the ship, but also letting the guys who need to steer the ship. You know what I mean? I know that sounds very commonplace and very I don't know, some shit that you would hear all the time, but that's literally what it was. And it got us a world championship first time in Rangers history. So I ain't going to question it.
And if you want to have a way too early conversation, next year is the last year on his contract.
That's correct.
Start thinking about that.
You know that Bruce Bochy has never made the playoffs the year after he won a World Series.
Never has. That's crazy.
But here's the thing. Now we're going to have a year 3, and it's kind of weird. Does this feel this season? It even to this point, it's felt like a hangover from the World Series.
It has.
I mean, there's the whole year, because they're having to do all these other things, going to the White House. I mean, all the stuff that comes when winning a world title, and it just kind of feels like shit. The guys have not even really had time to enjoy it.
Yeah.
And because they're having to do so many things during the season when they're trying to win back to back, which that's obviously not going to happen, but it's hard to do.
I think it feels like that from an outside perspective. I don't know that that's been the vibe that I've really picked up from inside. I mean,
no. I'm talking completely fan.
Yeah, fan. Yeah.
No, not with the players. Hell no. I know Corey Seager's sick. I mean, he's mentioned it. You haven't performed.
Yeah.
And if you look up and down the roster, the only one that I can look at that says that I can say played up to his up to or beyond his potential is Josh Smith or Nate Eovaldi. Everybody else,
I would add Andrew Heaney to that list too.
Yeah, I would too. Yeah, Heaney. Yeah.
Everybody else took a downturn. Everybody else, not Corey Seager, Marcus Semien. Everybody.
Semien has definitely taken a downturn, unfortunately, this year.
Yeah, and I think that's the big thing too. I'm sure, people have asked you this 100 times. Well, what's wrong with the Rangers? What's wrong with the Rangers? Anytime someone asks me that, that's what I say. Is like the guys. No one on this roster is just performing up to the standard that they did last year when they won.
They're not. I mean, I'll steal this from Tyler, who actually said this right about around mid-season. This is not a very good baseball team.
Yeah, I mean, not right now.
It's not.
Well, right now they're doing much better right now, but they haven't been.
But I mean, if you look at it, I mean, where are the Rangers looking at? It's just not. It hasn't been a good baseball team this year. It has. I gotta say, Kane mentioned Heaney. He had to be looking at that 10-run game yesterday, and like, where was that for me, man? Well, they almost gave it up, and I was losing my shit.
Langford bringing back that home run at the end of the game was pretty cool too.
That was pretty cool. The day after it's a grand,
and it was day after it's a grand slam,
and it was Santan, and it was
Giancarlo
Stanton that hit it, and he went and he made it look so easy.
He did.
He didn't make it look like Jankowski, which that was the craziest.
That was the greatest catch I've ever seen in my life.
That was. No. Were you there for that?
No, that was on the road.
Oh, that was on the road. That's right. That was in Chicago. My bad.
Yeah, that was in the Chicago bullpen. It was right in front of the bullpen because you could see one of the relievers were coming to try to catch the ball, and Jankowski caught it. He's sitting there going,
3 catches in Rangers history that I thought were some of the best catches I've ever seen. And I was there for 2 of them.
Yo, you were there for the Eli White one.
I was there for Eli White when he climbed the wall and brought a home run back. I was there for Gary Matthews Jr. when he Spider-Maned up the wall.
That one's
and
the
stole
best
the Houston Grand Slam.
I didn't see that one. If I would have saw that one live, that would have been the greatest.
And then the Jankowski one.
And I remember exactly where I was when Gary Matthews made that catch. I do
too. I was there.
I was in Iraq.
Oh wow!
I was in Iraq. I was in combat. Yeah.
Kane, have you seen the replay of it?
And I saw. And
I have. Yeah, of course I have.
Watching the replay of it, my dad was. Pretty much he just checked your email. 2005, 2006, 2005, 6 somewhere.
It was one.
No,
it was somewhere in there.
2006. I think it was 2000. Yeah, it's 2000.
But I'm telling you, being there in person for that, I remember. I think I dropped my drink. Like I really do. Like I was about to take a sip, and I think he caught that, and I just drank because it was a grand slam. Like that, he stole a grand slam by Spider-Maning up the wall.
And I don't know how he didn't even see the ball.
No, he said he just stuck his glove out. Yeah,
he stuck his glove. He just read the trajectory of it.
Yep,
and went and jumped on the godforsaken wall,
and then stuck his glove
out where he thought it was going to be, and boom!
I got to say, I love when
folks.
Go look at that.
Gary Matthews
again, because it was great.
Yes.
I think speaking of greatest things we've ever seen, Wyatt Langford has seriously produced 2 of the greatest baseball moments that I've ever seen in my life in person. The inside the park home run is your first career home run. I didn't know that was the first Rangers walk-off grand slam since 2008.
I know, that's insane.
I wasn't even watching baseball at that point, so that's crazy.
Yeah.
No, 2008 that was Josh Hamilton's first year with the Rangers.
Yep.
2008. Yep.
And
Yep.
This team has been.
That was also the year that they scored 30 runs in a game. They won
against
30-3 in Baltimore. Yeah, that was the same year. David Murphy, Salty.
Ramon Vasquez had a grand slam in that game.
Ramon Vasquez had a grand slam. Yeah, everybody
knows that is.
Ramon Vasquez, he played third base. He was the utility guy.
Before Langford hit the grand slam, Josh Smith hurdled the pitcher. So
that was cool. That was cool too.
I was like, oh, okay, football season.
Yeah, I think he was just doing an homage to football about to start. So
that was pretty cool to watch too. But yeah, no, this team has produced a lot of weird moments this year.
The thing is, they've had some really exciting moments for being a bad year.
Yeah.
The walk-offs, I swear, I've seen like 5 walk-offs.
Yeah, I think they have 6.
And here
they have 9.
Here's
9. They have 9 walk-offs. Yeah.
Yes. Yeah, I was about to say like way higher. But no, this year it just seemed, and I'm gonna go ahead and me and Ben pretty much talked about this ad nauseum the first half of the season. Anytime the Rangers got the bases loaded, they were never going to score. It didn't matter how many outs. They could have no outs.
Yep.
And especially if Marcus Semien was the one in the batter's box with the bases loaded. You were not getting a hit. Yep. Double play. I mean, it's the blame goes all the way up. But that at the beginning of the season, me and Ben, that drove me more nuts than anything. I mean, was having bases loaded, nobody out. And this happened twice in 2 consecutive innings in one game. 2 consecutive innings.
I was there.
Rangers had, bases loaded in the 7th, bases loaded in the 8th with nobody out and didn't score a single freaking run. That just tells you there it is. There's your season.
The most frustrating thing about baseball, guys, before we wrap up here, the most frustrating thing about baseball is it's 10 games. Like if the Rangers reverse and they just won 10 more games than they've won this season, they're in the playoff hunt right now. Yeah. But it's little things like that. You get one hit with bases loaded and win that game.
And how many times did that happen, Ben?
And you do that 2, 3, 4 more times. All of a sudden, you're right there in the hunt.
Like 10 times.
Like, again, they're not the Chicago White Sox. They're not that bad. Oh. They are a good team that is incredibly underperforming. That's who the Rangers are this year. And next year, unless everyone leaves and they don't spend any money, if that happens, they'll be bad. But if they build like they've been building and keep working like they've been working, they're going to be good.
Yeah.
They're going to add from the IL. They're going to add from the IL.
That too.
You gotta figure out the bullpen situation too, or else you're going to be right back at 20.
I want to keep Yates and Robertson, but I don't think they will.
I don't think so.
I don't know. That's
Robertson obviously likes it here, and so does Yates. So,
and hey, here's a question to end this. I asked this to Ben the other night. Is David Robertson a Hall of Famer?
Yeah.
I think so.
Gotta be.
I think so. I mean, more strikeouts than Mariano Rivera. I saw that stat too. I mean, I think so.
I had to as well. I was like, no freaking way he passed Mariano.
But that's who taught him. That's who taught him to throw that. That's who
taught him to cut fastball. Yes.
I think it'll come down because he hasn't always closed throughout his career, relievers.
But think about it. One of the best relievers. Okay. Can you honestly say one of the best relievers that's ever pitched in the game? And if you look at what David Roberts has done over his entire career, you cannot argue against it.
No, you can't.
How do you not put that guy in the Hall of Fame? Just because he wasn't a closer and didn't get the saves, but I mean, look at who he's matched up against.
Guys, he might or may not make the Hall of Fame, but just remember that Baltimore has a really bright future. In case you forgot, I just wanted to remind everybody.
I knew Ben was going to go smolty on us.
I think it'll be close.
Yeah.
He'll get if he does get in, it's going to be like one of his last years on the ballot.
Yeah, he won't be a first ballot, but he should get in.
I think the first couple of years it's staying on the ballot, and then after that,
Yeah, but no, I think so. And he literally plays a position that's completely undervalued. Because how many times that has Bochy this year? I mean, just look at this year alone. This year's body of work. Bochy would bring him in the 5th inning if it was a high leverage situation. He'd bring him in the 6th inning. He'd bring him in the 7th inning. He'd bring him in the 8th or the 9th or the 10th.
You can't use your closer if you don't have a guy that can get to your closer, and that's what David Robertson was this year.
He's a guy who's going to make
sure. Something completely kind of related, kind of not. So I was thinking the other day, obviously, if you're the home team and the game is tied in the 9th inning, you bring your closer in, right? That's how it's been.
Yeah.
But with the new extra innings rule, why wouldn't you just save him for the 10th when there's a guy on second base? I'm wondering if a younger.
Well, I'm hoping
start doing that.
Yeah. Oh, well, what I'm hoping is they just abolish that stupid ass.
Me too. I hate that rule.
And get rid of the ghost runner and extra innings because it's the stupidest, most childish little league bullshit that I've ever seen in my life.
It's not
I want
cool.
it to go away.
It is, but I will say this. When you're in the 10th inning of a game and it's 11 o'clock and you still got another hour.
But you know what? Hey, here's the thing, Kane.
Kane is not wrong
about you. Kane,
that's true. That's true. That's
true. It's not about me. It's not about Ben. It's not about any of us. It's whether we win or not. And that's all that matters. So, yeah, nobody gives a shit how we feel about it. But I don't care. This is our podcast, so I'm going to go ahead and say, please, God, get rid of that damn ghost runner. That's so stupid.
All right, boys, we got a baseball game and a football game to watch tonight. So we're going to wrap this thing up.
Here's the stats,
Chiefs, Ravens, Rangers, Angels. Oh, yeah, go ahead.
I need Pat Mahomes to throw about 5 touchdowns today, which you might.
Football.
So,
right here.
Uvalde, Nathan Uvalde, this is crazy. I didn't even realize that he's been this good. Nathan Uvalde is now 23-12 in 50 starts over 2 seasons in Texas.
Wow.
He's still obviously going to have a couple more. It's the 3rd highest winning percentage ever by a Rangers pitcher in his first 50 starts with the club, behind 2 people. And I'm going to let y'all try to guess the 2 people. But I didn't realize he was that damn efficient over the past 2 years. But
I'm going to say Nolan Ryan's
we've been spoiled. That's not one.
That's not one?
And I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go ahead and tell you one of them's very recent. The other one, legendary.
Wait, read the question. What's the question one more time? I feel like I can get the recent one.
All right. So Nathan Uvalde now has the 3rd highest winning percentage ever by a Rangers pitcher in his first 50 starts for the club. Okay. Behind 2 others. One was 800, which is crazy. I
win percentage. Wow.
And 692, which I also forgot how good he was.
Wait, is it Mike Fulton? No, I'm just kidding.
Yes, totally.
I'm going to guess. Okay, you say very recent, but I'm going to.
Very recent.
Very recent by Kane's terms or by your terms?
Yeah, that's what I was wondering.
Okay. Let's look at it in Jared Sandler's terms. The first year that Jared Sandler was joined the Rangers broadcast. The first year the Rangers made a trade for somebody. It was a starting pitcher.
Okay, I know who it is. I'll let Kane try to figure it out, but I know.
What year was that?
2015.
Oh gosh.
I know who it is. He was at the ballpark actually the night I went to the game.
Oh, I know. I saw this stat. It's Cole Hamels.
Cole Hamels.
I saw that's one. I don't remember the other one though.
That makes sense. I remember. I forgot how good he was.
Oh God.
Is the other one you, Darvish?
That's what I guessed.
No.
He's got to be close.
I'll go ahead and tell you, it's another lefty.
It's another lefty. It's not Derek Holland, is it?
Legendary Ranger.
Oh, Kenny Rogers.
There you go.
Yeah, Kenny Rogers. Yeah. Because I didn't go far enough back with the legendary left-hander.
I knew we'd have to do some trivia tonight.
Yeah, that was good.
Mac, I'm still 2-0 against you, bro. You gotta bring that shit harder.
Yep. All right, guys, let's wrap this up. It's been a great show. It's been fun to finally be back on the air again. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. And we will be back every Thursday for the foreseeable future. The off season, we've got so much to talk about coming up in October and on. We'll have lots of minor leaguers back on again over the break. Hopefully a few major leaguers. We got a lot going on. So stick around for that. We have so much to talk about, and we will probably mention football every now and again on this show.
We were going to talk about football tonight, but we
Chiefs and Ravens, go Chiefs. So.
I got one shout out real quick.
Yep.
Real quick. So if you guys know anything about independent league baseball, tomorrow.
Indy League, the Savannah Bananas are my favorite team.
I am going to the Cleveland Railroaders.
Oh yeah,
you're going
I love
Cleveland?
those guys.
Let's go, boys.
Cool.
They follow us on Twitter, man.
Yes, they do.
I'll be in the house tomorrow. I'm dressing up as a conductor. That's how into this I'm getting.
Oh, that's going to be fun, dude. You're going to enjoy that. Guys, remember TravisMatthew.com is where I got this shirt. They sent it to me to see if I like it. I do. So if you're interested in some nicer looking Rangers shirts, some business attire. And again, this isn't like overstated. Like I told them, it's literally just right there on the sleeve. Looks good. I love the color of the shirt. It's that powder blue color. Really nice. So y'all go check them out. And that will do it for us, guys.
I do want to say one more thing before the deuces get dropped. Okay. I do want to congratulate our friend Jeff Wilson and him and John Moore for their new endeavor. It seems like every year they got.
It seems like they do always have a new endeavor, but that's good for them.
But we're very happy for them.
And, oh yeah.
Hey, there was one point where we were higher in the rankings than they were.
That's not going to happen.
One point. It's not going to happen. But hey, congratulations,
but
Jeff, John.
They do such a good job. They're very different than us, but they do such a good job. Like we're a bunch of yahoos and they're really professional at what they do and do a really great job and work with the Rangers and all that. And if you don't listen to their show, you should. It's really,
we have
good.
them on. Yeah, we have them on here. In fact, we need to have them on. It's about Duke.
Yeah, we need to have them on to talk about their new endeavor. So
yeah, great so we've had Jeff and John on. Yeah, they're great guys.
Yeah, Kane, you talk to them all the time.
Kane sees them all the time. Yep. So congratulations to Jeff. Y'all want to Jeff Wilson on Twitter, DLLS_Rangers. It's a whole new deal that he's just follow Jeff because I can't keep up with all the shit he's doing.
No,
but congratulations.
No, they their Stars podcast just had the Stars CEO on it. Stuff going on.
Yeah, they're not playing around. They are hitting heavy and hard.
I don't know why they didn't call me before Jeff Wilson, but I guess maybe he's a little more famous
I guess
than
my
I
phone
am.
was broke too. But, whatever.
Nothing.
All right.
Congratulations, Jeff.
All right, y'all enjoy the games tonight.
And
drop the deuces.
Go Tigers.
Thanks for listening to the Ranger Report podcast. Find us on Twitter, Facebook, and at therangerreport.com.